Hello everyone, I am Saudashing. Have you heard of the term bread and circuses? In 1990s, Austrian journalist Hans Peter Martin and another German journalist co-authored a book titled The Global Trap. Although they were not professional writers and had no special background, this book quickly became a global bestseller and was translated into 27 languages. The book details a closed-door meeting held in September 1995 at the Fairmont Hotel in San Francisco, U.S. Reportedly, only 3 journalists were invited to listen in, including Martin and his colleague. The book describes how this meeting was organized by former Soviet President Gorbachev, with 500 attendees comprising politicians, business leaders, and experts from around the world. Attendees included global figures like former U.S. President George H.W. Bush, the Iron Lady Margaret Thatcher, financier George Soros, and futurist John Naisbitt. It was undoubtedly a gathering of top-tier elites. These individuals primarily discussed the direction of the world and the future of humanity in the 21st century. Gorbachev stated at the meeting, "From the beginning, I have suggested that we should establish a global think tank focused on the present and future of our civilization." What does this mean? Simply put, the future direction and development of the world depend on the thoughts of these attendees. The world's development is determined by them and has nothing to do with ordinary people like us. Pay attention here. At this time, we are still considered ordinary people, but after this meeting, we were given a new identity. Through discussion, these bigwigs simplified the future human society into a set of numbers, 20 versus 80. Before explaining this number, let's talk about an economic principle known as the Pareto principle, commonly referred to as the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is a concept proposed by Italian economist Pareto in the 19th century, stating that 80% of the wealth in society is controlled by 20% of the people. This principle extends to many areas. For instance, 80% of a company's benefits are created by 20% of its employees, and 80% of the beer in the world is consumed by 20% of the people, and so on. The meeting extended the 80-20 rule, with attendees concluding that by the 21st century, the world economy could be sustained by 20% of the global population. In other words, only 1/5 of the global population is needed to produce all the goods and provide all the top services society requires. These 20% of people include the elite attendees. The term 20 versus 80 society, or 1/5 society, originated from this idea. What about the remaining population? They will all face unemployment and will no longer be able to create new value. Thus, ordinary people were labeled as human waste or garbage population by the elites. What's even more infuriating is that these elites proposed inhumane solutions for dealing with the so-called garbage population. They believed that if a small number of people controlled wealth and created value, the remaining poor and useless population would inevitably become dissatisfied, causing significant trouble and even threatening their safety. So, for their own peace of mind, the elites came up with 2 solutions. The first solution is to massively eliminate inferior populations. How to eliminate them? Of course, it wouldn't be by using Nazi-style crematoriums, but rather through what they considered more humane and civilized means, such as genetic weapons and other high-tech methods. But is this method feasible? Let's look at some data. In 1995, the world population was over 5.7 billion. According to the 80 elimination ratio, the world population should be reduced to about 1 billion. However, As of 2023, the world population has exceeded 8 billion. We can say that the initial goal of this elimination plan is increasingly distant, and achieving the goal is even more remote. However, the other solution seems more practical. We all know that when a baby is crying, giving them a pacifier can immediately calm them down. At the meeting, someone suggested that the 80 lower class people are like babies. To keep them docile and obedient, they must also be given a pacifier. This pacifier refers to entertainment. As long as entertainment fills people's lives, their attention and dissatisfaction will be diverted. Gradually, people will lose the ability to think and the desire to resist the elite class. This is the insidious theory of bread and circuses. Such entertainment mainly falls into two categories: cathartic entertainment, such as pornography, gambling, drugs, violence, and online games, and satisfying entertainment, such as soap operas, reality shows, and short videos into activities that keep people happy. Well, why didn't I mention who proposed this theory? Because its exact origin is highly disputed. The most popular online claim is that this theory was proposed by the famous American strategists Zbigniew Brzezinski. The Global Trapper quotes this theory, but whether the book's content is true is almost unproven by other sources. But this is no longer important. What matters is whether bread and circuses is really, as described online, a conspiracy by capitalist countries against our people. Looking at online content, it's not hard to find conspiracy theory rhetoric. They believe that bread and circuses is a dark theory, with entertainment and games being controlled by behind-the-scenes manipulators. To support this, some people even cite examples. For instance, in 1990s, the year after the bread and circuses theory was proposed, idol culture rapidly became popular in our country. Previously, people idolized revolutionary heroes like Kion Zusan and Deng Kajin, but after that, they began to idolize celebrities and actors, even developing so-called die-hard fans who are extremely fanatical about their idols. Some also cite examples, like Steve Jobs never allowing his children to use iPads, and Pony Ma ever playing games himself. In this context, bread and circuses indeed seems like a conspiracy, but this conclusion is at most a hypothesis and speculation, lacking concrete evidence. Viewing all popular culture and entertainment activities as conspiracies is clearly unreasonable and not rigorous. Let's not talk about far-fetched ideas. Just take Pony Ma making games and Jack Ma creating Taboyari. They really just to numb ordinary people, thereby resolving the contradictions between the upper and lower classes. In fact, aside from conspiracy theories, bread and circuses point to a phenomenon in our current society. Most of us are overly addicted to low-end entertainment. Think back to your usual state. As soon as you have some free time, you open TikTok, laughing and crying with the videos, with your emotions entirely dictated by the content you watch. In such a state, we don't have time to think, discover problems, or know what we should be doing. When you finally want to do something, you find it hard to start, because before you begin, you feel the itch to start a game. Then after a few hours of finally turning off the game, you can't resist opening TikTok, and before you know it, a day has passed. This state can be summarized in one sentence: intermittent ambition, continuous laziness. Of course, this isn't entirely our fault, as various forms of entertainment products today are designed with addiction in mind. Take games, for instance. Some games, in addition to being fun, strive to make their products more addictive, such as offering small rewards for daily logins and surprise gift packs for a week of continuous login, which are very tempting. It's undeniable that games and online videos aren't necessarily brainless entertainment, as some content can indeed teach you something. And we all need some way to relax our minds. The key lies in how you use it. Harvard Business School has found through surveys that the more elite the class, the more they prefer to use supplementary ways to entertain their minds. Take Warren Buffett as an example. At 10 years old, when other kids were obsessed with TV and games, he was already drawing stock charts and observing stock price trends. By high school graduation, while others were reading sports and entertainment news, he had read over 100 books on business. Even after achieving success, while ordinary people were still indulging in pleasure, he kept pushing himself to learn, spending a lot of time reading dull financial newspapers. It is by abandoning low-level entertainment and maintaining the habit of independent thinking through reading and learning that Buffett could succeed. By now, everyone should realize that entertainment and games have become a necessary part of society. This means that most people at the societal level find it hard to escape the trap of bread and circuses. But if you want to get rid of the pacifier in your mouth, there's a simple but uncomfortable way: continuous learning. Seizing every opportunity to think and consistently training, making it your instinctive behavior. This way, we can become the person Emerson described, who can maintain a perfect independent personality, even in a noisy crowd, rather than a species that entertains itself to death. If you haven't followed yet, remember to click follow, and I'll see you next time.